Today we're going to spread our wings and fly into another animation challenge. Yes, in this video I'm going to animate a bird flying in 10 seconds, 1 minute, 10 minutes, 1 hour, and then 10 hours. So let's get started. So we've got a 10-second flight to animate, and I think what I'm going to do is, you know, this classic V bird thing. I don't know if that's normal. I think that's a pretty universal thing. Draw birds like this. Yeah, I think I can do 4 frames of that. It'll look kind of like it's flying. Make it nice and thick. That's good enough. Okay, 10 seconds starts now. Just kind of halfway down, kind of like this, and then halfway back up. Okay. A little bit disconnected on the last frame there, but let's have a look. I should have had these wings curled in on the first frame, but that's okay. Okay, this little flapping bird. Yeah, you probably need some context to understand what's going on, but mission achieved as well as I could. Let's move on to 1 minute. I'm not going to be able to animate a full-bodied bird at this point. A minute, still not enough time. So I'm going to do kind of the same thing that I just did, but hopefully with 8 frames, and gonna somehow draw the wings more shapely. 1 minute starting now. Okay, so since I have thickness enabled on my brush, I can do that. Kind of tapers off. Kind of freaking, let's do a shape like that. Sure. Coming back up. All right, now I wanna do an in-between. There's time, I think? Sure, I kind of just, I'm not going to get the follow through very correct on this. A little bit asymmetrical. Oh, no time for the last frame. Okay, that's interesting. Didn't go as well as I hoped, but let's have a look. Okay, that looks pretty solid. Thankfully, I would consider this quite a step up from the first one. So that's good. Now let's move on to 10 minutes, see if I can step it up even further. Alright, so what I'll do this time is have some shape to the wings, probably even also have a body. Crazy. Yeah, I'll do a little circle with a face. So the plan, make it full-bodied, try to make it smoother. Alright, 10 minutes starting now. Okay, up position of the wing. Go like, do some like feathery thing like that. It's like fold it in. I'm gonna do one wing and then duplicate it, because why not? So what's this gonna look like? It's like a weird comb. Okay, we can fix that if we want. Down position. Look like that? Yeah, I don't like this frame. It should be like, the spikes will be on top. Okay, that will do. Now, on the other way, the spikes will be facing downwards. Now we do in-betweens. I've still got decent time left. Okay, I want the tip to drag behind a little bit. Also, if you can hear the lawnmower, I'm sorry, and if you can't, well, have these drag a little more extremely. I'm gonna keep the fold kind of making sense. This is very finicky because I don't know what I'm doing. So I want to make this, so the tip needs to drag behind again, and I need to make the like other side of the fold start to appear, past halfway. I'm not talking much, I'm locked in. Okay, one more in between, and the bulk of it is over. All right, let's just copy these. What do I do? Flip this around. How many frames is this? I have to delete that one so it loops properly. All right, now let's draw a little body. Although this should probably be closer together. God, I'm wasting time. Draw a little body underneath like this and then some feet. It kind of looks like a bird. I'll draw it frame by frame, why not? Have the body move up a little as the wings come down. I think that makes sense. I need to space these wings apart. What is going on in this frame? 50, oh God. I don't have time. This is gonna be very rough looking. Okay. Oh man. Well, I guess let's have a look at what we've accomplished here. Kind of an upgrade from the second one. Obviously, more volume to it, more realism. The wings kind of have a nice flow. Of course, the bird itself doesn't look very good, I would say. Not really a bird expert. Kinda didn't know what I was doing with the body and feet, but you just redraw it a bunch and it looks like it's moving, so cool. Well, I'm sure we can improve this with 1 hour. This time, I wanted to use a sort of quarter side view, because it's more interesting and challenging. The first thing I did was sketch out the design of the bird. I wasn't basing it off anything in real life, just something that looks bird-like. With that out of the way, I begin working on the wings. I started off with both in the up position, then all the way down. Then I drew both of the midpoints for the wing closest to us. On the way down, the tip of the wing bends up, and on the way up, it bends down. Next, I drew some in-betweens. They're placed close together at the start and end of the flap because of easing, with a big fast swing in the middle. With that looking okay, I finished off the other wing. Now I'm working on the body, having it move up and down with a bob of the head. I also did a rough animation of the legs rocking around, but you'll see what happened to that. Right now it's just some extra tweaks and additions on the rough animation before I move on to line art. I drew over the whole body frame by frame, even when there's not much movement, for that lively hand-drawn look. I left the eyes for another layer in case I wanted to adjust those later. Then I moved on to the wings, another simple tracing job. Finally, I added the eyes and coloured everything in. It was a bit of a time crunch at this point, and I didn't have time for the feet, so they're just missing. I also had to settle for a solid blue background. And here we have a pretty satisfactory bird flight animation. It's a shame about the missing legs, but overall this is much better than what I did in 10 minutes. To no surprise. Aside from lacking in some details, it really doesn't look bad. I'm happy with the wing flap motion. The body's maybe a little stiff, aside from the head, just kind of bopping. Well, I have much grander plans for the 10-hour animation, so let's move on to that and see what I can do. This 10-hour animation is going to start much the same as the 1 hour. I'm going for a similar looking bird at the same angle, just paying more attention to the detail and shape. Once I had a nice wing flap going, I moved the body up and down to counteract the wings. There's definitely too much body movement from a realism perspective, but we love a bit of exaggeration. I added a foot before working on the more specific animation of the body. There's a bit of an overall curve going, along with some head bobbing and feather flapping. Next I worked on an overall tilt. I used my best judgment to draw the whole bird slightly rotated along the Z-axis, and added a bunch of in-betweens. The idea was to have a wing flapping loop, a gliding loop with the wings spread, and a glide with the bird tilting back and forth. Then I would switch between them. I also had to animate a transition for the wings to smoothly stop or start moving. The foot animation was something I didn't give a lot of thought. I had it curl up and down and sort of move around, hoping it would just fit in nicely. After almost 4 hours of creating the rough animation, I started on a design for the bird. I wanted to solidify the drawing on one frame before doing anything else. So I came up with this blue and yellow thing with a simple feather pattern along the body and some on the wings. Now to draw the line art for the rest of the body frames and colour it in. The simple feather pattern proved to be quite the task, as I had to redraw the whole thing in slightly different positions dozens of times. I do still have the idle and rocking animations to cover. Now there isn't much to say about the next few hours. I just had a lot of line art and colouring to do. It took way longer than I thought it would, but I guess there were a lot of frames and moving parts. I also put in a blink at some point, which I did in basically the normal human way. I discovered that birds blink sideways, but I just thought this way was more appealing. With an hour left, I went into Photoshop to make a background. I drew some different clouds to export as separate images so I could use them to fly past. The main part of the background is this hilly landscape with some big clouds. I wasn't sure the angle would look right, but I had to trust it. I also had an individual hill for the one closest to us that would move slowly in the background. Now I have some last minute colouring left to do before dropping everything in. I put the background image in and then animated the clouds moving both behind and in front of the bird. Then I had that extra hill move slowly and I was done. So this is my 10-hour animation of a bird flying. I think the animation itself looks pretty good. My nitpicks would be, first of all, the beak, just a touch wonky and out of place at times, but not too drastic. And the wing tilt on the, body rocking part of the glide. I did just motion between the wings, moving up and down. I would have liked to draw that frame by frame for more of a sort of three-dimensional looking tilt. But turns out this thing took a lot of time and I simply did not have the time to do that. I didn't even realize till after I was done, but the wing on the left is a still image for the tilt and the wing on the right is like a flapping little loop. Kind of an imbalance there, but I suppose having the one on the right fluttering about takes your focus anyway. The scale and angle and speed of the clouds and hill in the background, I think they work, but I don't know exactly what I would do to change that, but feels like it could be nailed down a little more. So yep, always improvements to be made, but pretty solid animation by me. Best bird I ever animated. Well, that's that. 5 hopefully increasingly competent bird animations. I hope you enjoyed them, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in another one soon. Goodbye.